my next question, right? And it has to do with the Waterford Speedbowl because I'm a Speedbowl guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the 7 events, how to shorten the nights because people say they're going to Camp Waterford. Like Todd Owen will say it. You know, he's going there at noon, 1 o'clock. He's not leaving till midnight.
Yeah.
Right? What are you doing? I'm going to Camp Waterford for a while.
Yeah, when we do Sid's View, it's a 12-hour day at the track.
Right.
Yep.
Right? So here's the thing. One, I know we went over the schedule, far too many divisions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Second, practice, and my brother brought this up, there's double rounds of practice for everybody. Literally, if to start the show earlier, just run 1 round of practice. You go to a dirt track, we went up there to Loudon.
Yep. You mean Lebanon Valley?
No, they have a little small track at
Oh,
Loudon.
Loudon? Okay, yeah, sorry.
Right? We're in the Legend. 1 practice, 4 laps.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got for the night.
Back in the day, though, wasn't it 3 rounds of practice for every team?
But my comparison is the dirt goes 1 round, 3 laps.
Yeah.
We're going into heat races.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So as a racer, do you feel like that's all you need? You don't need more?
Well, I mean, I grew up running 2 rounds. But if I grew up running these dirt guys, if they got 2 rounds, they're like, why are we getting 2 rounds?
Yeah.
Right? Why are we getting 2 rounds?
But, like, I don't know if this would help anymore, but, like, starting earlier, like, okay, have practice start noon. Because it is a Saturday.
Well, you know, it just runs into a whole bunch of things because I'm so passionate about the Speedbowl, and I always think about the young kids and who's next. Mm-hmm. Who's next to come into the stands? Who's next to build race cars? The one thing the Speedbowl has failed at considerably is victory lane.
How so?
It's not even exciting.
Because it's not on the track?
It's not even exciting to go around the corner where nobody can see. Only your crew and a few people go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When they have it on the track, all the kids come down. They all feel like they're part of something.
Well, you can thank 2 people for that. One is the track photographers who insist on having it back behind turn 4. And the other is Bruce Beamer, who built the fence, and now it's a small obstacle course to get from the midway down to the track.
Right.
You got to go through the flag stand.
Right.
Which is probably an insurance hazard at this point.
But something needs to be changed there.
No, I agree.
Stafford, they let the kids run down.
Yeah.
All the way to the infield, and they're part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
They are part of it.
Yep.
The speed.
And that's a thing when you come down and your guy wins, and you, especially when you're younger, and you get to walk down and you're wearing that guy's T-shirt, and you get to walk down in front of all the fans and say, "Hell yeah, I'm going out on the track because my guy won."
There's no more
That's a
special.
thing.
There's no more specialty going in the corner.
Right. And you miss races.
And you miss races.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, we can't do that because the show's going too long. Well, who told you to have 7 divisions a night?
Yeah.
Right? You need to make time to do special things for the fans, whether that's intermission. You want to do fan signings? Great. Have a small intermission so people aren't missing races and actually get to go wait in line and meet your favorite driver.
Mm-hmm.
Have those behind turn 4.
That's right.
Right.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're missing the boat badly because there's nothing special. I mean, I could go on and on.
What do they do at Thompson? Do
They go out onto right below the start-finish line.
they still do that?
Yes.
I thought they cut that short. No, they
no.
do? Okay.
Waterford's the only one
That doesn't
where
do
you
it?
can't go out in front of the fans.
Yeah.
And half the reason is because they got 7 divisions a night.
So what's your opinion on the having less practice thing? Because from my perspective, it's kind of like if you have too much practice, it sort of hurts the racing product a little bit because you kind of want them to figure it out during the race.
Listen.
I think it should be 2.
2 practices?
Yeah. Because what if something happens?
I feel like you just need one to
I
shake
mean,
the
isn't
car
the whole
down.
point of practice to shake down your car? And
Yeah.
if it's good, then you're good. But if something needs to be adjusted, don't you want to be able to make an adjustment and go out there still?
I mean, I guess so. But I mean, if everybody's at the same disadvantage, right? If it meant you starting the show earlier. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just looking at ways.
I would rather have them get rid of divisions than rounds of practice.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
What divisions would you cut?
I would. Ooh, that's a good question.
I know which ones I would.
Let
Have
me hear
at
it.
Well, the problem is you have too many now. I would cut the legends. They would, if you're going to run a Wednesday show, they're a Wednesday night division.
Yep. Go on. Now we're down to 6.
Now, who's the 6? Give me the 6.
SKs, late models, SK lights, street stocks, trucks, mini stocks.
Okay. Wow.
I know.
Oh my
It's tough.
God.
I would probably get rid of the trucks.
The trucks. Oh, I'm passionate about the trucks.
I kind of like the trucks.
The trucks
yeah.
put on one of the best shows there.
I know.
They're so weighty.
So then what is it? The mini stocks?
I think that, well, if you had to think right
I
now,
love the mini stocks. I don't love what they are right now. I think they've fallen off.
they have
severely.
definitely fallen off bad. They're getting better.
But the problem for me is that they just screwed the rules up, because the Speedbowl is a perfect, absolutely perfect mini stock track.
Right.
And so they should be a stout support division at that track.
Right.
But if you had to make the decision right now based on car count and quality of show, I could see why you would get rid of them. But I think long term that's a bad mistake, because that's a tailor-made division for that track.
So the original 4 core,
Yeah.
mini stocks, late models,
Streeters.
and SKs.
Yeah.
4.
You get rid of the SK lights?
There's something to be said for the SK lights because I love them.
Mm-hmm.
The late models, there's no cars. Even though I have a couple of them, if I had to make my decision today, you almost have to cut them.
Yeah.
There's 7 to 9 weekly.
The late models?
Yeah.
I have a car. They're part of the Saturday staple,
Right.
but
It's
they
not
are
that bad though, is it? It's more
Yes.
like it's more like 10 to 12. It's not 7 to 9.
I don't know. Honestly, they must be so bad because I can't remember a single late model race that I've seen in Waterford.
The problem is there's so many of those Axe cars out there, and
I
they
don't know
just
why
can't
they don't
get
come.
them there.
right.
See,
But-
a lot of these issues to me is it's like promoting issues.
Yes.
Like the late models, there's a ton of those cars you
Yeah.
should be getting for full fields.
Should be.
The mini stocks is a
But they're
tailor-made
not
for that division.
But they're not showing up.
Right.
Like, so I would start off with the first 4 that I mentioned. They have grown it exponentially. And if you're going to add a 5th, you got to start earlier. And you got to try to move the program along so there's more interactions with the fans, because it's hurry up and go, hurry up and go, hurry up and go,
Yeah.
because we have too many divisions and it just is hurting the product.
How about if you rotated trucks and late models? That's what I would do.
You could do that.
Let's say tried to do that once with the late models.
I think so. You could either do that, because right now they were trying to rotate the SK lights and the streeters or something last week. They were doing something like that.
Yeah.
But to me, it's whether you guys call it oversaturated, I'm not sure, but there's just so much that it's just about, let's just get it done, and you're still there
Yeah.
for 10 hours,
Right.
right? Like who
No, I
wants?
agree.
I could see the late model. What did you say? Late models and trucks?
Yeah.
I could see that working. I mean, that would cut it down by an hour or more to go from 7 to 5 divisions. That would save a crazy
So the
amount
only
of time.
For
doubt,
sure.
yeah. I mean, I really think it needs to be a minimum of, a max of 5 divisions.
And the other thing is, I mean, again, it's a car count issue, but all things being healthy, the SKs would always be last. I know that would suck for the SK people, but like they're always last at Stafford, aren't they? Except for on
Mostly,
rare
yes.
occasions, right?
Any
But
night they're not running the 80
Like that's the
laps.
headline division.
That's the
Right.
premier division.
They should run
When
last.
you come into that division, you know this.
Right,
You
Yep.
don't want to run last. Keep running late models.
right.
Yeah.
Keep
Right.
running SK lights every other week.
Yep.
Right? You know this. So don't come in and bitch
Yeah.
that you got to run last.
I remember that Terry had that going on for a while too, and it would be like the SKs would run first and the mini stocks would run last. And you'd be like, what? What are you
Yeah.
doing? Yeah. It was not.
Because
a good
believe me,
thing.
on those long run nights, they ain't hanging around for the mini stocks. It's not gonna
Yeah, you would
happen.
race against in front of nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which sucks. I believe.
Yeah, I guess the moral of the story is I just want more for the fans to do. There needs to be more of an experience, because there's too many things happening now. Back in the day, you didn't have anything. Now you got Mohegan, Foxwoods.
Yeah.
There's so many other things to do now.
That's
Yeah.
when the car count issues started, and it's been slowly deteriorating since. And That's
Right.
the 90s. Yep.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. And then they had, I mean, it's not a thing anymore, but remember when the Norwich Navigators first came, when they were the Yankees affiliate? That was
yeah.
a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And now just with like gaming and just what people can do virtually, like they don't have to leave the house, like us doing a podcast in my basement when we don't even have to go to the tracks yet. We can still do content. Like there's so many things to do without, Again, and that goes back to like why I'm not a fan of the multi-day event, because I just think that's a big sell to get somebody. You're going to get the racers to do it.
The racers.
It's a big sell to get the casual fan to commit 3 days to go to your event.
Right.
You know, that's just really tough to do. So, yeah, I don't know. So if you had to pick the 5 divisions, who are you getting rid of? Other than, you said the legend cars, who would be the other one?
That gives me what, 6?
Yeah.
Ah, man. I can't get rid of the streeters because I love them.
No, you cannot get rid of this.
I'm the promoter. I love streeters. The minis.
Based on performance, it's like it has to be the minis. If that's what you're going by.
Yeah. But they started getting healthier. But
no, actually, it'd be the late models.
That's what I keep telling you.
Yeah.
Right? But so to me, if I was running the track on a performance, I think the trucks tend to put on one of the best shows every Saturday as a fan, because I still watch as a fan. I like the personalities that have been involved in them. I always will be a modified guy. So the SKs are always going to be a staple, and you could just hope it gets healthier again.
Yeah.
Right? Because when that division is right.
The Speedbowl has always been a modified track.
And that track is awesome. The SK lights have been a late addition.
Yeah.
If you want to go on history, they are the latest addition, really, and the legends. So if you wanted to be a real guy, you get rid of the SK lights and the legends, because they were the last 2 on. It's like if you got hired and you had to lay 2 people off, or the trucks. You know, those 3 divisions were the last 3 on.
Yeah.
So if you were on a corporate job and they had to lay off somebody, those would be the first 3 out. But you have to put a great product on the table.
Yeah.
Right.
You go every week, Remy. What's the best product to you? I mean, you must have a top 2 or 3 you like to watch.
I mean, okay, there's more like friends. Like I love SK Lights because I know people in there. Like I have people to root for.
For the record, when she's at the track working for Sid's View, she doesn't get to watch a lot of racing.
You don't?
She's chasing in cars and
I
ripping
am
discs.
like, you will see me around and I'm bolting. Like if you're on the other side of the pits.
Are you actually running?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Like,
he hasn't gotten you a golf cart yet?
No, I get him a golf cart. They don't use it.
okay. But like usually someone else has it because I'm usually under the tent. And so all of a sudden I'm like helping to get some GoPros so I can start like
You're down. Yep.
Yeah. And all of a sudden I'll just hear Sid be like, "Hey Rem, can you just check this for me?" And now I go running.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, like
Yeah.
I feel like
so you
that's
don't get a chance to watch much, so you couldn't give us a straight up
kind
answer.
of the heats. But I also watch Sid's View like after because I love hearing like stuff of like, oh, I remember this part kind of thing.
You, Rob?
Streeters and trucks are the best.
Right. I feel the same way.
I like heavy, clunky. What were we saying earlier? The worse the car, the better the race. And I like when they're sliding all over and they drive like crap.
I feel like they're the 2 best races too right now.
They definitely
Yeah,
are.
but the thing is, like, the trucks weren't like 3 years ago.
They weren't.
But they are now.
That's how quickly things change.
They weren't. But like, because Foster wanted to get rid of them, and I said to Sean, I mean, they're the only division coming with 12 to 15 a night and putting on a race.
Yeah, but a few years before, when it was,
I remember we showed up with Emma. There was 4,
right,
3,
and then that's like so you don't
3?
know.
There was 3. They canceled the races for the night
What
for the
the
trucks.
hell?
Yeah, I remember that.
We were running on the Exit Realty tour. We would come down to shake the truck down and say, yeah, maybe we'll run. We show up and unload. There's 3 trucks.
Just a few years ago.
Yeah,
That's awful.
Maybe 4 years
That's
ago.
awful.
so
Wow.
that's like
Wow.
But that division's affordable.
Yep.
It's more like an old school late model.
right.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the G cars. Yeah,
And it's becoming immensely more popular, I feel like.
I'll tell you what I love watching on Wendy's, though, those X cars.
Do you?
They get like 20 of them to show up, and
Yeah.
they're beating and banging the whole time.
Like little
it's-
bumblebees?
Yeah, it's good. I think it's good.
yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but if it's based on performance quality of product and car count, it's probably the late models.
Right?
Yeah.
Which stinks because, I mean, we were just talking about Rondo and Stewart. Like, there's such an illustrious late model history here.
I just had this discussion with my Bob Hayes today. We're in the garage, and I says, Bob, what are you going to do if there's 5 cars this year and we show up? We built this beautiful race car, and there's 5 late models.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Right.
And if we suck and we're running around 5th every time there's 5 late models, I'm really going to be upset. Right?
Has like Emma thought of doing like any others, like modifieds?
So
right?
Emma, she's down for whatever. I think she's just grateful to have what she has, and whatever
Yeah.
Dad wants to do, let's go, Dad. Right? And so I was the first one at the Speedbowl to win in every division. Every Saturday night division, and I did it moving up the ladder on my own.
Yeah.
So what we've done with Emma is we moved the trucks, won a championship. I would have liked to have won some races in a late model and just keep working up the ladder.
Yeah.
But the division is not supporting that, and it's getting even worse. Thompson went to this 10-race schedule. You got guys like Ray Christian and Derek Anderson and these other guys have committed to Thompson. Like, we're going to go run their 8 to 10 race schedule, and we're not going to run the bowl. Now, they were part of the 9 to 11 cars that showed up every week.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do if they don't show up? Charles Bailey, for some reason, doesn't come back, and somebody else, Rich Siskowski, was.
Yeah.
What if you got 6 cars?
Right.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, half our races last year, we time trialed with group qualifying because there wasn't even enough cars to run heat races.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you lost Brody.
And then you lost Brody.
Brody's gone.
Brody's gone.
Will he like race any at Speedbowl, or is not in his
Maybe
time
when
card at the moment?
when he comes home, maybe. But they have a pretty much full schedule. I mean, they have like 16 races. So if you count that during the summer, that's a lot of weeks during the summer back and forth. So if you get an off week of travel,
Yeah.
the last thing you want to do is come home and prep a car, maybe.
Right.
Unless you got back-to-back weeks off, you're like, all right, listen, maybe we'll get it ready for next week. We'll run a race.
I wonder if they're worried about making a change because they are not confident that if they say, okay, we're going to get rid of the late models, you're just going to lose those drivers. Like, there's not enough love for the place that says, well, Jason Palmer will buy an SK mod then. Or,
Yeah.
Emma will go SK light races.
Would you say that's a legitimate concern? Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like that is sort of happening.
Well, they do have a loyal base of people, but they don't have any outreach anymore, it doesn't seem like.
That's what I'm trying to get
Yeah,
at.
after all the drama that played out 5 or 6 years ago,
That was awful.
it got trimmed down to what it is now, and it hasn't really fluctuated at all.
That's right.
Yep. Except the tri-track shows. That's the only events where they bring in other people
Yeah.
So those show you
that they can still do great things there.
that they
Yeah,
can still do great things there.
for sure. But it reminds me of like that year when Jerry Robinson created Wings and Wheels. So the previous owner, he had this stretch where he was going through a divorce and had personal things, and so he got out of it and he leased it to this old guy, Jerry Robinson, who your brother was like one of the few people that had a decent relationship with. He was otherwise just one of the crankiest, grumpy old men you could ever meet. But he had one good thing. It was really down back then too. Car counts were down, crowds were down. But he created this Wings and Wheels event that had supers, the MRS, which was a big deal back then, and the midgets and the SKs. And it was a huge
No
success.
fendered cars.
No fendered cars. And it was a huge success.
Yeah, packed.
But what bothered me about that was, like, he proved he could put on a big event, and then the next week it was just a crappy old regular show. And I almost felt like he like threw that in our face. Like,
Yeah.
I can do it if I want. I'm just not going to do it all the time. I'm just going to do it this once. Now, this is a different scenario with the tri-track,
Yep.
but what I'm saying is it bothers me that when it can be proven that it can still happen, and it just doesn't happen often.
Right.
It just
Yeah.
happens once a year. That's kind of deflating.
Well, I think also the thing is that we've mentioned this before, that probably one of the best short tracks in America is right up the road from us. So it really makes you look bad,
Yep.
right? It really makes you look bad. You know, we went to Tri-County with Brody, and when the Premier Division came out, now we don't have at the Speedbowl, I don't think, the means to do this. So when the late model stocks came out on the track to run their 75 lapper. They were the last show of the night. As the cars are going around the track, all the Musco lighting's just flashing.
Oh,
all
like
over
a
the
strobe
track.
effect kind
Yes.
of thing? Yeah.
And so Brody said, I couldn't see only when the lights came on. But it just had such energy.
Yeah.
It just created so much energy that you could, and then they went clinch green and the lights all came back on and you were pumped. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't wait for the start of this race. Come on, Brody. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and that's just how I'm living right now. And it takes small stuff like that
Yeah.
to just give the fans an experience.
But it's funny you say that, right? Because you're right. That is like a small thing. But I see it as, there's so many things that have to get done before the Speedbowl is concentrating on that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's,
But where do you start?
but you can't do that with a 9-car late model race.
Right.
It's going to look stupid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right? Like
Yeah,
you have to
yep.
Yeah.
you have to build up the product first
Right.
and then do that kind of things, you know? And it's kind of like to me a small thing is, and we talked about this, right? And I love Charlie Banta, but somebody has to tell Charlie to stop giving the bottles of water while the guy is trying to wave the flag in
How
front of
about
the
get
fans.
the mic to work?
Get the mic
Oh,
to work,
yeah.
right? Because
Right.
they're going to go home. If the fans get in their car and they're talking about how they couldn't hear their favorite driver because of the mic and not the race, that's not a good
not
thing.
cool.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.